Let us start after stopping for a few minutes due to power cut. Let us finish this problem here. First of all, the amount of cooling, water cooling in the condenser itself. Let us consider that MW or M water is the amount of cooling water passing in the system itself in the condenser. Now, the heat given out by the refrigerant of the condenser will be given as the amount of refrigerant flowing through the condenser and multiplied by the heat rejected in the condenser itself, which is the heat H2 at the entrance of the condenser and HF2 is the heat at the exit of the condenser or at the inlet of the throttling valve after the supercooling itself. We know both this and refrigerant weight of the refrigerant as well as both this inlet and outlet enthalpy of the condenser itself. So if we put all of them, we'll get this is the amount of heat 4953.6 kilojoule per kg of heat is being rejected from the condenser itself. Now, since the specific heat of water is CW is 4.183 kilojoule per kg degree Kelvin. Therefore, the heat taken by water in the condenser is given as specific heat of water is known more or less 4.187. So this is known to us specific heat temperature of water at the inlet and temperature of the water at the temperature of the water at the outlet and temperature out of the inlet. Both are given in terms of degree centigrade. We convert in the degree Kelvin here, and what is unknown is equal to mass of the water itself. So after the simplification, we know it becomes 29.3 MW or mass of the water itself. Since the given heat given by the refrigerant in that condenser equal to the heat taken after providing the condenser, just equating these two, 29.3 MW is equal to 4953.6 or MW is equal to 169 kg per minute. This is the answer of the second portion of the problem itself. Now, a next problem is a vapor compression refrigeration based machine with Freon 1412 is the refrigerant itself, has a capacity of 12 metric ton of refrigerant that is operating between minus 20 degrees centigrade and plus 26 degrees centigrade. So lower temperature of T1 and T4 is equal to 28 minus 20 degrees centigrade, and higher temperature T3 and T2 is 26 degrees centigrade. The refrigerant is first subcooled by 4 degrees before entering the expansion valve, and the vapor is superheated by 5 degrees before leaving the evaporator itself. The vapor is separated by 5 degrees before leaving the evaporator itself. The machine evaporator, okay, separated by 5 by leaving the evaporator. Okay. The machine has a 6-cylinder single acting compressor with stroke equal to 125 times the bore itself. So the volume swept by the compressor itself is given by the with stroke equal to 1.9 times the bore, and it has a capacity clearance of 3% of the stroke volume itself. So it is swept volume capacity is 3%. So what we are supposed to calculate here, the theoretical power required to run the compressor, the COP of the system, and volumetric efficiency, and bore and stroke of the cylinder. The speed of the compressor is given, that is 12,000 RPM. The Freon 14 has the following properties. So what is saturated temperature? Minus 20 degrees centigrade and 26 degrees centigrade. And the pressure is given here. Lower pressure at P1 and P4 is equal to 1.9093 bar, and higher pressure P3 and P2 P2 and P2 to P3 is equal to 6.6997 bar itself. The specific weight of the vapor is given at lower temperature, means at the entrance of the compressor when it is vaporized in the evaporator. It's the specific volume of the vapor is given as 0.1475, and higher temperature after it's leaving the compressor, its specific volume becomes 0.026 meter cube per kg. The enthalpy at the liquid and at vapor stage, liquid stage going both lower temperature T2 T4 and higher temperature T3 T2 is given. Same is given the entropy itself. And the specific heat of the liquid refrigerant is everywhere 0.93 kilojoule per kg, and specific heat of superheated vapor is always at 8.62. Specific superheated 0.615. That is 0.615. So what we have to do first, we have to find out what is what. So tonnage is given here, that is 12 metric ton. So the amount of heat which is supposed to be extracted in the evaporator itself is to be obtained by multiplying 12 multiplied by 210 kilojoule per minute. But 210 is the heat extracted from 1 kg of ice, 1 kg of water to convert 1 kg of ice itself. So T1, the temperature at the low temperature itself, that is here. What is T1 dash is the temperature at the temperature of the temperature of the temperature of that brown vapor at the when it is evaporated fully. That is T1. That is T1 dash, which is the outlet temperature, which is T4 is equal to T1, which is almost temperature 245 degree, or which is 28 plus minus 28 plus 273, which is equal to 245 degree Kelvin itself. Hmm. 210 degree Kelvin itself. Now what happens? 245 degree Kelvin itself. Next, we have to find out what is T2. T2 is the higher temperature of the system T3 and T4, that is 26 degree here. That is T3, and that is equal to T3. T2 that is equal to T3 dash, which is 26 degrees. The 20 plus 273 is 2999 degree Kelvin. T3 dash is the temperature. T3 dash minus T3 is given as 4 degrees centigrade, which is given at here, like this. The refrigerant is subcooled. The refrigerant is subcooled by 4 degrees centigrade. It is given here. So this is T3. T3 dash minus T2 is 4 degrees centigrade, or T3 is 22 degrees centigrade, means 26 minus 4, that is 22 degrees centigrade. 22 plus 273 is 295 degree Kelvin itself. T1 minus T3 dash is 5 degrees centigrade, or the T1 is minus 23 degrees centigrade plus, means which is initially 26 minus 26 plus 3, that is minus 26 plus 3 is equal to minus 23 degrees centigrade. So minus 23 by 273 or equal to 250 degree Kelvin itself. So thus we have got all this temperature here. We know T4, T1 dash. We now know that T1 is the entrance temperature of the evaporator itself. I mean the compressor. T3 exit temperature and inlet temperature of the throttle, exit temperature of the condenser and inlet temperature of the throttle valve. T9 T3 dash is the temperature at the T3 dash equal to T2 dash is temperature at the saturation stage, in vapor as well as in vapor as well as in the liquid state of the refrigerant in the condenser itself. And we don't know now the T1 itself. So next is L is equal to 1.25 D, means solid volume ratio between length and the solid volume and diameter is given as 1.25. The clearance volume between 3% of the stroke volume itself, and RPM is given as 1000 RPM. Now V1, specific volume at vapor stage as well as the specific volume, means at vapor stage, and V1, V2 dash, specific volume means here at the vapor stage, V2 dash specific volume at the both on the vapor stage at high temperature and low temperature. Here the specific volume at vapor is of the in vapor stage at minus low temperature, and specific volume at the vapor stage at high temperature, that is 26 degrees Kelvin. Now HF1 enthalpy at the point 1, means at the point 1 here. Enthalpy at the point 1 here is given in the liquid state is equal to 10.64, and HF3 dash, the enthalpy at the point 3 dash, it is at the liquid state, that is at temperature that is 60.67 itself, which is the temperature with the enthalpy at of the liquid state at high temperature, and this is the temperature liquid state at low temperature. So with this temperature at somewhere here, which is coming somewhere here. Now H1 dash, what will be the H1 dash is the temperature at vapor stage at the point 1 and what the point 1 dash, which is given as at low temperature 177.11 itself, 175.11 itself, and H2 dash is the and H2 dash 190.11, that is the point enthalpy at the point 2 dash, means enthalpy at the vapor of the refrigerant at vapor state at high temperature in that is stood at 2 dash, which is given as 190.11 is the H2 dash. Now next comes the entropy, SF1, entropy at the point 1 when it is of the liquid state, when it is given as 0.44 kilojoule per kg degree Kelvin. SF3 entropy at point 3 means entropy at the point 3 here means which is the entropy of in the fluid state at point 3, which is given as 2.73. That is fluid state at high temperature, which is given as 2.71. And S1 dash, that is here, entropy at the at low temperature and vapor state, that is 7.75 here, 753, and S2 dash, the entropy at the vapor state at this point in the at high temperature. This is all given here. And CPL, temperature, specific heat at liquid state is given, specific heat at vapor state is also given here. So we know S1 here. What is, we know S1 dash here, and we have to calculate S1, and we have to use this equation S1 dash plus 2.3 into Cp log T1 divided by T1 dash itself. We know what is T1 and what is T1 dash, and what is the specific heat at vapor state, specific heat of the refrigerant in vapor state, which is given here 6.15 multiplied by 2.3, and S1 dash is given as entropy at vapor state at low temperature, which is given here 0.71. So if we put all these values, the entropy at the point 1 is given as 0.7277. So this is equal to the S2 dash, S2. So S2 is equal to S2 dash. We are using the same formula with different temperatures, 2.3 CPV log T2 by T2 dash itself. And that is 0.6865. S2 dash is given here. S2 dash is given the specific enthalpy at this point, at the point 2 dash in the entropy of the vapor state of the refrigerant at the point 2 at high temperature. So this is put it here, and S1 and CP is the entropy at the specific heat at vapor, that is at vapor state 0.615 log T2 is unknown to us, T1, T2 dash is given 299. So here so since 0.1 is equal to S2, 0.7277 is 0.6865, 1.1445 log T2 by 299. Next, making the necessary calculation, simplification, making the anti-log, then T2 will be equal to 319.7 degree Kelvin itself. So at the point 2, the enthalpy is temperature is 319.7 degree Kelvin. Now we have to find out the respective enthalpy itself. What is H1? Enthalpy at the entrance of the refrigerator at the entrance of the compressor is given as H1 dash. Enthalpy given at the enthalpy of the refrigerant at fully vapor state at low temperature is given as H1 dash, which is known as 175 by 11 plus Cp vapor for specific heat of vapor multiplied by the temperature rise from T1 to T245 means 250 minus T1 dash, that is 65, that is total. With after calculation, it will become 178.18. And enthalpy at the point 2, it's enthalpy at the point 2 dash plus the specific heat of the vapor multiplied by the temperature rise, fall in temperature from T2 to T2 dash. That is 319 minus 299. And 0.615 is the temperature at vapor, and 198.11 is the enthalpy at the volume itself. The enthalpy of the liquid refrigerant at point 3, it is the enthalpy at the refrigerant at the point 3 dash minus the specific heat of the liquid refrigerant multiplied by the temperature, fall in temperature from T3 to T dash. That is 60.67 minus 0.963 multiplied by 299 minus 295. That is 64 point, after simplification, 64.52. So you get H3. Now, the heat extracted refrigerating effect is given as H1 minus HF3, 178.18 minus 64.52, which is given as 13.66 multiplied by kilojoule per kg. We know the tonnage of the refrigerator, tonnage capacity of the refrigerator, which is 12 ton. 12 tons multiplied by 210 would be the tonnage capacity in terms of kilojoule per minute, means amount of heat it can extract per minute. So the mass flow of the refrigerant will be the tonnage capacity, refrigerating capacity divided by the refrigerating effect, which is both are known, calculated here 250 and 2520 as well as 113.66. This and this. This 22.17 kilojoule per kg per minute. Thus, the work done during the compression of the refrigerant, that is the mass flow of the refrigerant multiplied by the rise in enthalpy from H1 to H2 during the compressor process, which is all known to us. Put the values here, 210 to minus 178 is equal to 274 kilojoule per minute. So the power required 274 divided by 60 is the kilowatt, or 12.07 kilowatt power is required for the compressor itself. Now, here we can safely calculate it. What is COP? So H1 minus HF3 divided by H2 minus H1. that is refrigerative effect created by the power consumed. The 178.18 minus 64.52 divided by 210.84 minus 178.18. That is 3.48. The answer is that. The volumetric efficiency thus, we have to calculate what is the volumetric efficiency. Which is the specific volume V2 at the point 2, which means at that point 2 means at the outlet of the compressor, at the outlet of the compressor. What is the specific volume at point 2? This is the specific volume. What should be the specific volume? And the clearance is 3%, 0.03. Only thus, first of all, let us find the specific volume at suction to the compressor at point 1. So we apply Charles law due to point 1 and 1 dash, V1 by T1 or V1 dash by T1 dash. Or V1 by T1 is going to beat P1 dash by T1 dash. So P1 is same and cancelled. So V1 is equal to V1 dash multiplied by T1 by T1 divided by T1 dash. And V1 is given as 0.1475. V1 is the specific volume at vapor stage at the point 1, which is given as specific volume at point 1 means specific volume of the vapor at the lower stage at the entrance of the compressor, that is equal to 0.1475. So we got the specific volume V1 at the entrance, that is 0.1505 meter cube per page. Similarly applies Stark's law or the cash equation equal to between this point 2 and 2 dash, V2 by T2, V2 dash T by T2 dash. Air pressure is same, P is the same in both the cases. So V2 dash is the specific volume at the outlet of the compressor V2 by equal to specific volume of the compressor at vapor stage at the temperature, at the higher temperature T3 and T2, T2 by T2 dash, both are calculated. So we put them to know the specific volume at the vapor at the outlet of the compressor, that is 0.28 m³ per kg. Now we know when you come to the talk with the compressor, the volumetric efficiency of the compressor is given as 1 plus C minus C, 1 plus the specific volume minus specific volume multiplied by V1 by V2. So clearance volume multiplied by V1 by V2. So we put 1 plus clearance volume minus clearance volume multiplied by the vapor at specific volume at outlet divided by specific volume at inlet divided by specific volume at outlet. So efficiency, volumetric efficiency will be given as 87%. The bore and stroke length of the meter. Bore is the diameter, say bore diameter. Then L is the length of the cylinder equal to given as 1.25. The relation between swept volume and swept length and the diameter is 1.25 G. So end speed of the compressor 1000 RPM. Now the theoretical suction volume of piston displacement per minute is mR multiplied by V1 multiplied by 1 by F sub V. M1 multiplied by V1 multiplied by 1 by F sub V. And the mass flow of the refrigerant multiplied by the volume, specific volume per unit per kg, multiplied the efficiency is the mass flow divided by specific volume into the efficiency of the compressor. So suction volume of piston displacement becomes 3.84 cubic meter per minute. Since the system maximum machine is 6 cylinder single acting compressor, so theoretical suction volume will be per cylinder will be 3.84 divided by 6 or 0.63 meter cube per minute. Now the suction volume of piston volume of the cylinder, piston area plus stroke into RPM, pi by 4 d square L, pi by 4 d square into 1.25 d into 1000 square means 982 d cube meter cube per minute. If you equate them, then it will become d cube is equal to 0.64 divided by 982 or 0.000652, or d become 0. After cube root, taking the cube root 0.08675 m or 86.7 millimeter, and L 1.25 86.7 is equal to 108.8 millimeter. Okay. I have finished here. You are also left. Let us stop here.